Welcome to Perimenopause Hell. This is a quick video that explains why we're leaving Facebook. It's not a choice that we're very happy about, but really we feel that we have no choice. We're not asking you to leave Facebook. We're just asking you to follow us on other social media. So the alternatives are MeWe, because that has groups just like Facebook. It's not a political decision. In fact, for the American members of our group, this, I'm British, and this really has absolutely no political meaning for me. In fact, let me just be clear about my politics. I'm actually quite left leaning. I regard myself as a socialist, and really it's just convenient that it's what Facebook used to be like before it went silly about rules. Of course, the YouTube channel has been hosting all our video advice for a long time now, so you can follow us on YouTube. We've now got 1,000 subscribers, and so we could actually do live feeds and that kind of thing now. We have a Twitter address, and the direct messages are private, so you can send me a message asking for advice if you so wish. We also have a Discord server, so I'm hoping that in the future, once a week, we can agree a time when everybody can meet and actually have a chat. If you've got a gaming headset or a phone, then you'll be able to actually chat using your voice live. So this group's actually been 4 years of work for me. It's not something that I really wanted to abandon, but I have to accept now that my group could be lost at any time because, Facebook's just decided that something I posted or something someone else posted, is wrong or offensive or whatnot. Groups are actually being shut down, and groups that aren't being shut down, I don't see them in my newsfeed anymore because Facebook is punishing them. And I'll show you how Facebook does this and why later on. And the group quality also affects what groups turn up in search results and stuff. So because of the way the group is run and the way Facebook operates, we're actually going down lower and lower in the search results. And partly that is because I moderate the group lightly. You probably think that I don't, but just wait until you hear later on. There isn't anybody to speak to. There's no phone number or customer services. And some of you may say, well, Facebook's something that you get for free. But, life has changed. If you can't go on Facebook for silly reasons, you're losing business opportunities, potential income, and things have become very unfair. So Facebook actually earn quite a lot of money from advertising and from the data that they hold about people. So it's really rather stacked against people. One of the things I found recently, and I'm going to try and explain to you why it is that Facebook makes it so impossible now for people to run groups well. The most recent rule change, which I discovered because I posted something and Facebook didn't like it, was they've changed their terms. So if you post a link to a page they don't like, they can actually give you a violation for that. So I had posted a list of FDA-approved testosterone preparations on a web page that I found, and Facebook decided it didn't like that. So I got a violation warning. And of course, there is no list anywhere of what groups or what pages Facebook doesn't like. I'm left to guess. The page that I'm talking about wasn't selling anything, so I'm left feeling a bit confused, but there's nothing I can do about it. Quite often, if you are able to appeal about something, they decide that they've got it right anyway. The other thing is posting links multiple times or the same reply can mean that Facebook starts regarding this as spam, and you get punished for that too. So if you think in my shoes, I'm often posting a link to an advice video more than once, maybe a few times in a row if I feel that it's necessary. And Facebook regards that as spam. And I, once again, can get punished for that. So this is an example of somebody who's running a group, and they often put the comment yay to be supportive, and actually Facebook decided that went against their community standards and that it was spam. Literally all this woman was typing was yay. We've tried very, very hard to stick to Facebook's rules, really hard, but the rules keep changing and it's impossible to keep up. The goalposts keep moving, and even if you read the rules are so vague that it's actually impossible to meet their criteria because you don't know what their criteria is. There's no lists of websites they don't like. There's no list of words they don't like. Now, group quality is how Facebook shadow bans groups. If the group that you're running does not meet their standards, your group starts to appear lower down in search results. Your posts and stories don't show up in people's news feeds, and your group quietly dies. And this is what's beginning to happen to perimenopause hell. I'll explain to you how that is. It's things like comments that you post. You might say something like, oh, my husband's such an idiot. And you'll see in a minute how that shows up in our admin side of things. If I get into trouble, then that also affects the group even worse than if members have a strike. So basically, if we don't behave ourselves exactly how Facebook wants us to, and we don't punish our members for things they say, even though Facebook's already punished them, then our group quality falls and we go down and down in the search results. This is an example of what I see as an administrator. If you have a comment removed by Facebook for calling your husband stupid or an idiot or saying he's dumb or whatever, then it's not just you that's punished. In fact, we get punished as well. The whole group suffers for it. And the other thing that you don't see on this screenshot is that we actually have a button that comes up against your name, and you click it and Facebook suggests things like you remove the member from your group or you send them a message. And of course, if we do this, then Facebook rewards us by increasing our group quality. I've not yet ever removed anybody from the group for what they've said, especially if it's venting about their partner. But you see, we're suffering from that as well. This is another example of like an admin violation. This was yet another link from one of our admins, and Facebook didn't like it, and they claimed that it was a page selling things, which it wasn't. And you can see here the Manage Member button. When you click on that, it, as I've already explained, offers for you to remove the member or send them a nasty message. I don't think Facebook's a healthy environment anymore. This is a message that pops up if you've been posting the same thing too many times. This is from another health group, and this particular woman had been posting about a fundraising event she was organising, and Facebook told her she couldn't comment right now. I guess they regarded it as spam. Thank you, Facebook. The obvious thing is the problem we have with jail. I've personally suffered from this just for running the group. In fact, really, on Facebook, I've ended up just running the group. I don't do anything else there now. I've had people reporting my comments out of spite. And when that happens, you might find that Facebook agrees with them, even though you can't see anything wrong with it. In fact, I had a 7-day ban for a welcome post, which was maliciously reported, and Facebook agreed that it was hate speech. You can see for yourself in a minute what this welcome post was. And of course, these things aren't important up until your account is deactivated, because once you've had a 7-day ban, the next one is 30 days. Once you've had a 30-day ban, the next one's 60 days. And after that, your account is deactivated. You have no recourse, no comeback, no anything. So that is 4 years of hard work just completely down the drain. So this is the welcome post that we were posting 2 or 3 times a week. And all it does is give you a bit of extra guidance as to how the group works. And because I posted this multiple times, maybe 2 or 3 times a week, and it was tagged to every new member of the group, I got more than one ban for this post. And it was the day before my birthday. So after that, I couldn't reply on my profile to anybody who'd wished me a happy birthday, all because somebody in the group had maliciously reported my welcome post. This particular infraction was the beginning of a slippery slope, and I got banned for 3 days, and it was like historical. It was like old photos that I'd uploaded, nudity or sexual activity. In fact, these were photos of my then toddler on the beach, and they were in a private folder on my highly restricted profile. So unfortunately, I've suffered greatly just for running the group. And people say, well, just get a new account. But this is not working anymore, which is something you will soon find out if you've got 1 or 2 other accounts that you use sometimes. Most admins who have groups have some other login they can use just in case they get a ban, because you have to keep running your group. And you're going to discover your group's going a bit haywire because the people who are running them are going to get bans like this. So this is an example of what I mean. This is on Reddit, and it says, when I try to make a new Facebook account, this shows up no matter what email I use. Yes, because Facebook is putting cookies and other stuff on your computer, and Facebook can tell, for example, which computer you're posting from, which internet service provider you use, all sorts of things, and you cannot be anonymous on Facebook anymore. If you are and you have an account that's not your genuine name, your days are numbered. And that is a shame, because a lot of women have vindictive exes. Many people have reasons why they want to be anonymous, and those days are coming to an end, I'm afraid. So there's a lot of people getting really, really stupid bans for things like talking about a place name like Devil's Dyke, or old-fashioned sayings like the pot called the kettle black, and that apparently is racist. Using descriptive language like, pig or whatever. You can't even recount things that have happened to you. For example, I've actually been the victim of a hate crime, and I can't talk about that because I can't mention the names that I was called. If you do, then just mentioning that name is, there's no nuance or context. You can't have a sense of humor on Facebook anymore. It's not fun. It used to be fun. So people say Facebook's not a service, you don't pay for it, but they do own all your data and they earn a lot from advertising. I don't see what the problem is with them Sharing the wealth. This is what they call trickle-down capitalism. They're meant to employ people, not just make computer programs that can't understand the stuff that we're typing. So the speed at which they change the rules and the vagueness of the rules mean that they can ban who they like on any pretext. And you have to consider who they might be banning. Maybe people who don't have vanilla opinions on everything. I also find it a very discriminatory environment because, as I've said before, I'm disabled and I have brain fog and memory problems. So people who are autistic, hell, a lot of women in perimenopause also have memory problems. I just don't know how you're supposed to keep up with what Facebook does with its rules and so on, because, unless you're some sort of genius, you just can't do it. As I've said before, there aren't any lists of terms Facebook doesn't like. There is no list of websites it considers unacceptable. You've just got to guess and hope that you've got enough lives left in which to expend one if you didn't get it right. So that's the end. I'm guessing we're not going to get as many people in the other groups as in the Facebook group, and it's sad that that's the end of it. But also, I've got to say that for all the people that appreciate the advice, there's a lot of people who, I've seen a lot with announcing that it's going to close, people just being unpleasant without considering the effort that goes into running it and the reasons why it's closing. If people hadn't maliciously reported me, then I wouldn't have nearly so many bans and violations. I couldn't believe somebody said, well, just hand the group on to somebody else. I don't think so. Well, I spent the last 4 years being on the group almost every day, making videos, talking to women by messages. It's just not fair. So those of you who are loyal and care, you'll follow and you'll find me if you need advice. That's all that I can say. Have a nice menopause. Cheerio.